with another video, and today we got they breaking the NBA again. Let's get straight to the video.
The last decade, three-pointers have taken over the NBA. The shot transformed from a gimmick so underutilized that the league had to move the three-point line closer to the hoop just to incentivize teams to take more, to a shot that now determines the outcome of many games. But after an entire era of seemingly exponential growth, recently the barrage of three-pointers appeared to stabilize. In fact, the league had become so saturated with threes that the scales had flipped and two-pointers became slightly more valuable than three-pointers. Yeah. Just like anything else.
Hold on. 1 second, guys. I gotta brush my teeth. Okay, I'm back.
Something that was good and effective, but only up to a certain point. And that point had been reached. The shot was pushed to its fullest extent, and the three-point revolution had met its inevitable conclusion. Except it didn't. This season, teams across the NBA are shooting more threes than ever before. Some teams with the majority of all of their shots being taken from beyond the arc. A new generation of stars more trigger-happy from
50
three than the players that came before them, and games that feel.
Guys, I gotta start reacting to fucking NBA again, bro. I heard D Fox short skissy. I'm just gonna tell y'all because I'm not gonna react to it probably. D Hot scored 60. Fucking Donovan Mitchell looking like prime D Wade out there with a jump shot. Goddamn, Wemby scoring 50. Goddamn, LeBron scoring triple doubles at his age. AD looking like a fucking monster.
Feel like one long three-point contest. Is the NBA on a path to being a league featuring exclusively long balls, layups, and nothing else? Well, in 2015, right about the time the league began to shift away from the basket, Steph Curry attempted 8 three-pointers per game, the highest total in the league that season, and just the 5th player in NBA history to attempt at least 8 threes a game. By the next season, 3 other players joined him as ultra-high-volume three-point shooters. But by 2020, the number of players across the league attempting at least 8 threes a game jumped to 50.
God damn! Fucking James Harden? Damn! 13? 12.5? What the fuck?
15. The three-point revolution was long in effect by this point, and it would remain at this level for the next few seasons. The league seemingly finding its equilibrium on threes and how many are even worth taking. Until this season, where there are 24
fucking LaMelo Ball all the way up here. That motherfucker been hooping too.
Players in the NBA who are attempting what was once considered a historic amount of threes just
and fucking Ant out there now, like damn.
A decade ago. Something is changing in the NBA right now. Are we nearing the end of the three-point era, or are we just getting started?
We need to add a 4-point. Because it seemed like 3
Today's video is brought to you by SeatGeek. The NBA season is heating up. Your favorite artists are on tour, and y'all are gonna need some tickets. Now, you guys have used my promo code so much that SeatGeek wanted to hook you up with a new promo and a new special offer, and it's the best one yet. For the rest of the season, everyone who uses code Jimmy10 will get 10% off any tickets on 10. Find the Jimmy10.
Yeah,
in 2016, the Golden State Warriors completely redefined how basketball is played. For the first time, a team that centered their offense around the three ball proved that it can be a championship-winning
Make sure you give me 3 likes.
Strategy. And they weren't just a three-point oriented team, they were the
three-point
team.
Give me 3 likes.
They bucked age-old notions of what great basketball could look like. Their star duo named after their shooting abilities. The most influential team of our generation. That season, the Warriors shot 31.6 three-pointers per game, the second most of any team in league history, and by far the most of any true championship caliber team. This season, every single team in the NBA attempts more threes a game than the 2016
51 Celtics?
The Warriors did. Their influence reshaping the league far more than anyone could have anticipated. But teams aren't just shooting more threes than ever before. They are approaching the point where the majority of all shots taken in a game are three-pointers. Here's a game between the Hornets and the Celtics. And with 10:36 left in the third quarter, Jason Tatum attempts a three. The Hornets come back and attempt a three as well. Celtics turn it over, Hornets attempt a 3. Celtics come down and attempt another 3. Hornets come down and attempt a 3, followed by a Celtics 3, followed by a Hornets 3, followed by another 3. Celtics switch it up.
Hey, the Hornets is knocking them bitches down though. Real rap.
For a moment with a layup, and then right back to a Hornets 3, turnover, Hornets 3, Celtics 3, Hornets 3, Celtics 3. This was a real sequence in an NBA game. This actually happened. A 4-minute stretch where both teams combined for nearly 14 consecutive three-point attempts if it wasn't for an easy layup at the rim.
Damn!
This is insane, and it's not even out of the ordinary this season. Here's another sequence between the Celtics and the Knicks. Now, this was already a blowout, so you never know what you're going to get in these situations. But how about a 3-ball followed up with a turnover, another 3-ball, and another 3-ball, and another 3-ball, another turnover, 3-ball, turnover, 3-ball. Oh look, there's a layup. And then back to another 3-ball, and a turnover, and a 3-ball, and take a wild
It's
guess.
the goddamn Celtics with all those goddamn threes. That's all it is.
A 3-ball. 3 straight minutes of 3-pointers. 8 from the Celtics alone, and they missed all 8. But even this was nothing compared to what happened in a game between the Hornets and the Hawks. With a minute and 45 seconds left in the first quarter, the Hornets made a mid-range jump shot. What's so special about this mid-range bucket? Well, nothing, other than the fact that this would be the last shot they would make outside of layups and 3-pointers for the rest of the entire game. For the next 37 minutes of game time, outside of free throws, every single point the Hornets scored until the end of the game was from right here or out here. In fact, throughout this entire game,
there's no more deadly mid-ranges, guys. The NBA is changing. No more daily mid-range. Look at my iterate. Change the colors.
the Hornets scored 120 points. Only 4 of them came from a shot that wasn't a three-pointer, a layup, or a free throw. Has the complex, rich, and diverse game that we love truly been reduced to this? It certainly feels that way at times. Through 100 games so far this season, a whopping 42% of all field goal attempts have been from beyond the three-point line, a total that has nearly doubled since 2012. Sometimes it feels like we're watching one big three-point contest, because at times, we are. In fact, at the current rate the league is going, which may or may not continue, half of all shots taken in an NBA game will be three-pointers by the 2032 season. But it's not just that teams are attempting more three-pointers. Teams have regressed to taking only the best, most efficient shots on the court. Three-pointers, layups when they're available, and hardly anything in between. Excluding free throws, 86% of all points scored from NBA teams this season have been from beyond the
Damn! Niggas is taking more three-pointers than layups.
Point line, or within 6 feet of the basket. 20 years ago, only 65% of all points were scored from these zones. Now, this upward trend of near and far and nothing in between may not continue. Over the past few seasons, there has been some stagnation in three-point attempt rate, so there may be a shift in the other direction in the coming years. But the NBA tends to follow the leader. What are the winning teams doing, and how can we adapt, emulate, and optimize that style of play? And right now, as much as we can't stand it, winning basketball looks a lot like a three-point shootout. Before the beginning of this season, Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla said the team planned on shooting a lot more threes this year. They did the math, and it checked out. We need more threes. But outside of Harden's Rockets, last year's Celtics attempted more three-pointers than any other team in NBA history. It was a recipe that was so good, it helped them win a championship. How many more threes could they possibly shoot? 51. This year's Celtics,
they shoot 51 threes in a game. 51? I would think my team made in high school 51 threes, period.
Are shooting 51 three-pointers per game. That is 56% of all of their field goal attempts. Arguably the best team in the league, coming off of a championship, is shooting 6 more three-pointers per game than any other team in league history. But are three-pointers and the sheer volume of them really a recipe for winning basketball? Is this truly the future of the game and what teams will need?
I mean, what's higher, 2 or 3?
Need to do to compete? Well, so far this season, teams that win the three-point battle, when they score more net points from three-pointers than their opponent, have won 72% of the time. And this one metric has been more indicative to winning than just about any other. Last season, there was an 85.6% correlation between three-point percentage and winning percentage, the strongest correlation between the two variables in NBA history. Make more three-pointers, greatly increase your odds of winning the game. But that's pretty obvious. Of course, making more threes will better your odds. We have seen massive underdogs win games by pouring in three-pointers and hitting more than they probably should have. Will teams eventually reach the threshold of three-pointers that are worth taking in a game? Or is the shot just so valuable that...
Like, a 7'4" should not be stepped back, shooting a 3 and cashing that bitch, bruh.
We will inevitably see a league that finds
like,
no
that shit
value
gonna become
in
normal.
taking any shot outside of the long.
Y'all don't realize, but that shit, the next 5 years, that shit gonna be normal. Scouts gonna be looking for 7'5" niggas shooting from 3, step back in 3.
There must be a sweet spot between shooting exclusively threes and no threes, where we will eventually see the...
It's gonna get to a point that if you're not really handling, the point guard gonna be 6'7", 6'8".
limit of good, viable three-pointers. Oddly enough, the league may have already met that limit. As previously mentioned, three-pointers used to yield more points per shot than two-pointers for many years. Teams eventually figured this out and they capitalized on it. But this inadvertently led to two-pointers becoming more valuable. As teams focused their defensive efforts on stopping the three ball, they got spread thin, the rim opened wide up, offenses got rid of long mid-range jumpers, and for the first time in over 3 decades, two-pointers produced just as many points per shot as three-pointers. How do we know if or when teams are shooting too many threes? Well, intuitively, it would be at the point where three-pointers lose their statistical advantage over twos, which has already happened. The problem of too many threes has already statistically corrected itself. But despite this, the Celtics and many other teams are committed to shooting more threes than they previously did. They are aware of the data, and they still decided that upping their three-point rate is the answer. Steve Kerr has said that it would be hard for the Warriors to compete without shooting a high volume of threes. Mike Budenholzer said he thinks the sport is in a good place, and that threes create more space to be more athletic and dynamic going to the basket. Bro. Devin Booker, a player who utilizes and values the mid-range game as much as any player in the league, said the volume should be up. Attempting the three-point shot, not even making it, stretches out the defense and opens up better looks throughout the game. Teams know that the two-pointers today aren't as valuable as they are in spite of threes. Two-pointers today have become so valuable because of threes. As Devin Booker stated, even when they aren't going in, the spacing and ball movement that three-pointers provides to teams creates an incredible advantage compared to any other shot. In fact, it's no coincidence that points per shot on two-pointers began to climb rapidly at the same exact time.
I ain't gonna lie, this shit happened on 2K too. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie to you, bruh. If you go over the years and play NBA 2K, bro, it used to be insides 15, 16, inside centers 17, inside centers. Stretch bigs came to a play. 18, a little bit more stretch bigs came into the play. 19, that's when they was in their prime. 20, prime. 21, inside a little bit, but we still had no stretch big. 22, that's when it was eating. 23, damn, you can't fuck with them. 24, over those. 25, over those. So it shows, bruh. It affects everything, bruh.
As the three-point revolution. When you force teams to guard the three, you also force them to give up the two. This whole time, we've been watching these games thinking teams are shooting way too many threes. And all along, they weren't just shooting threes because they're worth more points. They've been shooting more threes to create more points in other areas. The direct benefits of volume three-pointers actually plateaued quite a while ago. Teams aren't yielding more points per shot on threes today than they did a decade ago. But the indirect benefits of Volume 3s continues to grow the more teams make and take them, which means, in theory, the number of threes we're seeing teams take could continue to climb, despite the fact that they are already at the peak of their direct statistical advantage. But just how much further could this go? Well, this is where things get really interesting. If we ignore the caliber of teams and the efficiency of their shooting and just look purely at volume, then through over 150 games so far this season, teams have found by far the most success when they shoot somewhere between 46 and 52% of all of their shots from beyond the arc. This season, when teams put up a three-point attempt rate between 46 and 52%, they have won over 70% of the time. Meanwhile, teams that shoot at a rate outside of this hypothetical sweet spot have won just 48% of the time, which means despite as many three-pointers teams are shooting, statistically, they may still not be shooting enough. And it may only be a matter of time before teams use this information and slowly creep towards this rate scary, of 50% of all of their shots consisting of three-pointers.
So pretty much if you tall, bro, and you know how to shoot that motherfucking rock, you league bound. Like, if you know how to fucking shoot that bitch, you're league brown.
Last week, Nick Wright had a great monologue discussing
oh shit, I thought that was the person who was talking.
The advantages of volume three-point shooting and how teams who can design an effective offense built around them have an incredible statistical advantage.
The league needs to change some rules. They have finally figured out it's not only that 3 is worth more than 2, it's that 3 is worth a lot more than 2. Because there is a 50% premium on three-point shots, the smart way to play is probably what the Celtics did on opening night. Shoot 60 of them things. That is the best strategy. That is also terrible television. And I love the league. I love it. But this is not sustainable. At its core, the NBA is at its best when dudes are flying over people, meeting them at the rim. Hanging out at the three-point line, hoisting 30-footers is not good TV. And you are going down a path where the games are less compelling television and the fans are worried, do the players even care? It's just a warning to a league I love. You are playing a dangerous, dangerous game.
If what the Warriors did in the mid-
Real shit, though. We not trying to see you shoot 63 top of the key. We can do that shit our damn self. But I can go outside and shoot a 3 right now. I can't motherfucking... You feel me?
2010s broke the game of basketball, then teams today are eviscerating it. They have essentially cracked the code. Decades of experimenting with different schemes and offensive designs and player personnel through trial and error has led teams to the correct answer.
Like
Nothing beats a bunch
shooting.
of good looks at 3. It may not be pretty. It may lack the nuance and diversity that we used to see in the league, but it has been proven to be the most effective method of winning basketball games. How much further can this possibly go? Well, fortunately, there seems to be an upper limit to the ideal volume of 3s before the returns become diminished. That limit is probably about 50%. Unfortunately for us, the NBA is still nowhere near that limit.
That shit fucking scary, bro. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Give me 3 likes and I'm out, bro. Peace.